Imagine this. You're walking down the glittering Las Vegas Strip, neon lights bouncing off glass towers, your stomach rumbling after hours of exploring. You sit down at a stylish restaurant, order something simple, a Caesar salad and a Coke, just enough to keep you going. Then the bill arrives. $70, $50 for the salad, $20 for the soda. No truffles, no gold flakes, nothing special. Just lettuce and bubbles. For one tourist, this wasn't just a meal. It was the moment she realized something was very, very wrong with Las Vegas. She called it robbery, not from a slot machine, but from the very city itself. And she's not alone. From hidden resort fees that appear at checkout, to parking charges that rival hotel rates, to drinks priced like jewelry, visitors are waking up to a shocking truth: the Vegas they once loved is gone. The city that once made the average traveler feel like royalty has been replaced by a corporate machine that squeezes every dollar from your pocket before you even step into a casino. So the question is, what happened? How did Sin City, once the land of $4 buffets and free parking, transform into the world's most glamorous scam? Tonight, we dive into the hidden playbook of modern Las Vegas and expose why more and more tourists are walking away for good. To understand why today's Vegas feels like a trap, you have to look back at the old Vegas, the one people still remember, with a mix of awe and nostalgia. Ask anyone who set foot on the Strip in the 1980s, the 1990s, or even the early 2000s, and their face will light up. It wasn't just about hitting a jackpot, it was about how the city made you feel. You could show up with a couple $100 in your pocket and still leave with memories that felt priceless. Buffets were legendary: $4.99 steak and lobster dinners, endless shrimp cocktails, and breakfast spreads that cost less than a fast food combo today. Hotel rooms were cheap, sometimes under $30 a night, and that included perks like free parking, free drinks, and even the occasional complimentary show ticket. The city wanted you to feel rich, even if you weren't. That was the secret sauce of old Vegas. It wasn't about squeezing every penny out of your wallet. It was about making you comfortable enough to stay, gamble, and most importantly, come back again and again. Casinos knew that if you felt taken care of, you would keep chasing the dream, keep playing at the tables, keep telling your friends back home about the magic of Las Vegas. They didn't need to charge you $20 for a Coke because they were playing the long game. They understood that loyalty and excitement were worth far more than a one-time overpriced meal. The atmosphere reflected this philosophy. Bellhops remembered your name. Waitresses served you drinks with a smile, not a surcharge. If you stayed up all night throwing dice at a craps table, chances were breakfast might be on the house. And if you were down on your luck, sometimes the pit boss would comp you a meal or a show ticket just to keep you smiling. There was an unwritten agreement between the city and its guests. Come here, have fun, and we'll make sure you feel like a high roller, no matter your budget. But that Las Vegas, the one built on hospitality and a little rebellion, feels like a ghost story today. In its place stands something colder, something slicker, something that looks like Vegas on the outside, but doesn't feel like it on the inside. Instead of competing to give you the best perks, today's hotels compete to see how much they can charge without losing you entirely. The free drinks have slowed, the cheap rooms are gone, and the famous buffets have either disappeared or turned into overpriced displays that only the wealthy can enjoy. The Strip now feels less like a playground and more like a fortress. Hidden fees are the new slot machines you always lose no matter how you play. Tourists walk away, not with stories of generosity, but with bitter jokes about being nickel and dimed at every turn. And that shift is more than just disappointing. For many, it feels like heartbreak, because Vegas wasn't just a destination. It was a memory, a shared dream that anyone, whether a bus driver from Idaho or a teacher from Ohio, could live out for one dazzling weekend. Now that dream has been priced out of reach. The transformation of Las Vegas didn't happen overnight. It wasn't one dramatic decision or one law that changed everything. It was a quiet takeover, a shift so subtle most people didn't realize it was happening until they were staring at a $50 salad or a $35 parking fee. One by one, the quirky independent casinos that gave the Strip its colorful personality were bought out, consolidated, and absorbed into corporate empires. Today, two names dominate almost everything you see on Las Vegas Boulevard: MGM Resorts and Caesars Entertainment. Between them, they control close to 80% of all the hotel rooms and casino floor space on the Strip. What looks like competition on the outside is in reality a monopoly dressed in neon. When mobsters ran Vegas, the business model was risky but straightforward. They wanted you inside the casino. Food, drinks, parking, those were bait offered cheaply or even free to get you in the door, because once you were seated at the blackjack table, the odds were in their favor. The house always won, but at least you felt like you were playing. Now the philosophy has changed. Today's Vegas doesn't rely on your gambling losses to stay profitable. It relies on extracting revenue from every possible inch of your experience. The new motto isn't keep them happy. It's maximize revenue per guest per square foot. This shift is driven not by showmen gamblers or entertainers, but by Wall Street and private equity firms. The men and women calling the shots aren't sitting in smoky back rooms watching dice roll. They're staring at spreadsheets and quarterly reports. For them, Las Vegas isn't about creating memories. It's about extracting margins. To shareholders, the system looks efficient. To the average visitor, it feels like slow suffocation in a velvet-lined coffin. You can see the fingerprints of this corporate logic everywhere. The casino host who used to know your name and comp you a meal has been replaced by an app that tells you your gold tier until you spend another $2,000. Free parking, once considered an untouchable part of Vegas hospitality, is now a revenue stream climbing from $10 a day to $20, then $35. Resort fees march in lockstep across all the major properties. When one chain raises them, the other follows within weeks. That's not healthy competition. That's price alignment, some would even call it collusion. And the irony is bitter. Las Vegas built its legend on risk, on gambling, on the thrill of chance. But under corporate rule, risk has vanished, at least for the corporations. They've engineered a model where the house doesn't just win at the tables. The house wins before you even check in. Every decision is calculated, every dollar accounted for, every guest tracked and monetized. Even spontaneity is gone. Dynamic pricing powered by algorithms means your hotel room, your meal, even your drink can change in cost minute by minute depending on demand. It's Vegas without the Vegas. For many longtime visitors, this is the saddest part. It's not just that prices have gone up, it's that the spirit has been drained. Instead of a city run by hustlers, entertainers, and risk-takers, Las Vegas has become a polished machine designed to guarantee profits. And what's been sacrificed in the process is the very thing that made it magical, the feeling that for one weekend anyone could be a king. If the corporate takeover explains the philosophy, then the money extraction playbook reveals the tactics. Las Vegas used to be famous for comps, bargains, and perks. Now it's infamous for hidden fees, inflated prices, and sleight of hand, so polished most visitors don't realize they've been hustled until the vacation is already over. The most notorious trick in the book is the resort fee. The name sounds glamorous, like you're paying for something extra, maybe a poolside cabana or luxury spa perks. In reality, it's nothing more than a mandatory nightly charge buried in fine print. You book what looks like a $149 hotel room, but by checkout, that room balloons to nearly $200 once resort fees and taxes are added. And what do those fees cover? Wi-Fi, local calls, gym access, things you either never use or the hotel provides at virtually no cost. It's the oldest bait and switch in town, and yet it's entirely legal. Then there's parking, once a proud symbol of Vegas hospitality. For decades, casinos welcomed drivers with free parking because they wanted you inside spending money at the tables. Today, you'll pay anywhere from $20 to $35 a day, even if you're already staying at the hotel. It's like being charged for the privilege of spending more money. And that's just the beginning. Food and drinks have become another battlefield. The famous dollar shrimp cocktails of the past are gone, replaced by $50 salads and $18 bottles of water. Clubs that used to hand out cheap drinks now sell mid-shelf vodka for $700 plus tax and tip. You're not paying for better quality or unique experiences, you're paying because the corporations know they've got you cornered. Once you're inside their ecosystem, they own every step of your night. Entertainment, too, has been re-engineered for maximum profit. There was a time when shows were comped or priced reasonably as a way to keep you in the casino. Now the same Cirque du Soleil performance that once cost $40 goes for over $180 with convenience fees stacked on top. Headliner concerts that once drew crowds with accessible pricing now charge $500 for a decent seat, and that's before you even factor in food or drinks. What was once a perk to enhance your trip has been transformed into an obstacle that drains your wallet before you ever sit down. The insult isn't just the price hikes themselves, but the way they're delivered. Early check-in, $50. Late checkout, another $50. Move a bottle in the minibar fridge, and a hidden sensor charges your account instantly, even if you didn't drink it. Want to book a room online? A convenience fee might hit your bill just for clicking a button. Everywhere you turn, you're told you're a valued guest while being treated like a captive audience. It's not generosity anymore, it's extortion dressed in neon. The end result is staggering. The average Vegas visitor now spends more than $1,200 per trip, and yet customer satisfaction has plummeted. Because it's not the price alone that hurts, it's the feeling of being tricked, of being nickel and dimed at every turn. Vegas didn't just get more expensive, it got less fun. What used to be an adventure now feels like a heist, with the thief hiding in plain sight. And the worst part, the real hustle doesn't happen on the casino floor anymore. It happens in the boardroom, where executives and shareholders calculate exactly how much you can be squeezed before you decide never to come back. Behind the glossy ads and the dazzling lights, the human cost of this transformation becomes clear when you listen to the voices inside Las Vegas itself. The workers who once built the city's reputation for generosity and charm now find themselves caught in the squeeze, just like the tourists. Maria, a cocktail waitress with more than 15 years on the Strip, remembers when her tray was heavy with drinks and her pockets were heavy with tips. Guests smiled, tipped freely, and treated her like part of the magic. Now she says the smiles have vanished. Customers snap at her about prices she doesn't set, and more than once she's walked away from a $100 drink order with zero tip. Her income has been nearly cut in half, not because she works less, but because the entire system has shifted from service to exploitation. It's not just Maria. Bartenders, bellhops, and housekeepers echo the same frustration. A valet driver admitted that he used to enjoy chatting with guests, learning their stories, and offering small touches of hospitality that made them feel welcome. Today, management demands speed metrics and upsell quotas. The job is no longer about service. It's about pushing high-margin products, whether guests want them or not. I feel like a salesman, not a host, one hotel clerk confessed. Even worse, some employees have started warning their own friends and family to avoid visiting Vegas because, as one put it, "I'm embarrassed by how we treat people now." Longtime visitors feel the sting just as sharply. Steve, a retired factory worker from Michigan, recalls his annual trips with fondness. Back then, Vegas made him feel rich, even though his budget was modest. He could get a cheap room, enjoy buffets, see a show, and play at the tables without breaking the bank. Now, with more money in his retirement account than he ever had while working, he says he feels poorer every time he visits. "Vegas used to make me feel like somebody," he admitted. "Now I feel like nobody." His words cut deep because they capture the heartbreak of thousands of others who once saw Las Vegas as their escape, their annual tradition, their piece of the American dream. Online forums and travel reviews echo the same story. Tourists complain of being scammed by resort fees, charged outrageous prices for simple meals, or treated like inconveniences unless they're dropping thousands at the tables. Reddit threads are filled with bitter jokes about the new Vegas being nothing more than a corporate scam disguised as a vacation. YouTube vlogs show travelers walking through half-empty casinos, warning viewers that the city has lost its magic. For every person still dazzled by the lights, there are many more who walk away with a sour taste in their mouth and no desire to return. What makes this shift so devastating is that it doesn't just affect the tourists, it erodes the very foundation Las Vegas was built on: service. The city was once famous for treating everyone like a star, whether you were a teacher, a bus driver, or a billionaire. That equalizing magic is gone. Unless you're a high roller, a convention whale, or a VIP dropping 5 figures a night, you're often treated as background noise. The velvet ropes are no longer just part of the decor. They've become a philosophy, a way of separating those deemed worthy of the magic from everyone else. In chasing short-term profits, Vegas risks alienating not only its workers, but also its most loyal fans. The waitresses, bartenders, valets, and longtime visitors aren't just complaining, they're warning. They are the canaries in the neon mine, signaling that the soul of Las Vegas is slipping away. And if their voices are ignored, the consequences may be irreversible. The cracks in Las Vegas's glittering facade are no longer invisible. They're showing up in the numbers, in the reviews, and in the growing chorus of disillusioned voices. Visitor growth has slowed, return rates are slipping, and convention attendance has become unpredictable. For a city that once prided itself on being recession-proof, the signs are troubling. But perhaps the most dangerous development is the rise of alternatives. Travelers who once considered Vegas the only place for entertainment and indulgence are now finding other destinations that give them what Vegas no longer can: real value and genuine hospitality. Across the United States, tribal casinos and regional resorts are winning back customers. Take Choctaw Casino and Resort in Durant, Oklahoma. It may not have the iconic Strip skyline, but it offers something Las Vegas has forgotten: fair pricing, free parking, and a culture of respect. Guests there talk about feeling welcomed instead of squeezed. In Connecticut, Mohegan Sun and Foxwoods are thriving by blending world-class gaming with old-school service. They don't nickel and dime their visitors with endless fees. They understand that loyalty is built by making guests feel appreciated, not exploited. For many former Vegas regulars, these places are becoming their new annual trip. The shift isn't limited to the US. Even in Europe, high-end destinations like Monaco are drawing comparisons. On the surface, Monaco seems like it should be worse. After all, it's a playground for billionaires filled with yachts the size of hotels. And yet visitors are stunned to find that parking is free beach, access is free, and even a simple espresso costs less than bottled water on the Strip. The irony is sharp. Monaco, a place designed for the ultra-rich, feels less exploitative than Las Vegas, a city once built for the everyday dreamer. This growing comparison isn't just a financial problem, it's a branding crisis. Las Vegas sold itself as the city where anything was possible, where anyone could feel like royalty for a weekend. But when tourists start describing it as a scam capital, that brand begins to unravel. The slogan, "What happens here stays here," once captured the sense of rebellion and indulgence that defined the city. Now it risks becoming a bitter joke. What happens here is that you overpay, and the memory you take home is one of disappointment. The ripple effects extend far beyond tourism. Workers who once built stable lives on the tips and wages of a thriving Vegas economy are now struggling. Local businesses that depended on steady flows of visitors are feeling the strain. And the global reputation of Las Vegas as the ultimate adult playground is eroding. Every story of a $50 salad, every online post about hidden fees, chips away at the dream that made the city famous. The real danger is psychological. Vegas wasn't just a collection of casinos and hotels. It was an idea, a fantasy of escape that made ordinary people feel extraordinary. Once that feeling is gone, it's hard to bring back. Guests who feel scammed don't just leave angry, they leave disillusioned, and they rarely return. And when people start saying it's just not worth it anymore, that isn't a pricing problem, that's a soul problem. Las Vegas now finds itself in a race against time. Either it listens to the warnings, adjusts its course, and rediscovers the magic that once made it legendary, or it continues down the path of squeezing fewer and fewer people for more and more money until the spell is broken for good. The alternatives are rising, and if Vegas doesn't change, It may find itself remembered not as the city that never slept, but as the city that never listened. Las Vegas stands at a crossroads. The Strip still glitters, the fountains still dance, and the slot machines still sing their endless tune, but behind the showmanship lies a city that has traded soul for spreadsheets. What was once the ultimate playground for everyone has been reshaped into a fortress for the few. The $50 salad, the $35 parking fee, the endless resort charges, these aren't just inconveniences. They're symbols of a deeper transformation, one that risks erasing the very identity that made Vegas iconic. The choice ahead is stark. Continue down the current path, catering only to whales and high rollers, and Las Vegas becomes a hollow spectacle, profitable on paper, but empty at its core. Or look inward, remember the spirit that made it great, and rebuild a city where the bus driver, the school teacher, and the retired factory worker can once again feel like royalty for a weekend. It's not just about money, it's about trust, about feeling welcomed instead of exploited. The world is watching and the competition is rising. Alternatives are proving that hospitality still matters, that loyalty is worth more than a short-term profit. The question is whether Las Vegas will listen before it's too late. Because once the magic is gone, it doesn't come back easily. So now we turn to you. Would you still visit Las Vegas today? Or has the city lost the spark that once made it unforgettable? Share your thoughts below, and if you want to see more untold stories and hidden truths, make sure to like this video and subscribe for the next chapter. The lights of Las Vegas may still shine, but what really matters is whether they still shine for you.